To go. Awesome. Okay. All right. In that case, I'm going to call our meeting to order for the Canal Recreation and Park District Board of Directors. Regular meeting of November 4th, 2021. I didn't ask you in advance, but Mr. Tim Doer, would you mind leading us the flag suit this evening?
Swallow. You remember your first day in the park district? Do I remember it? Absolutely. What did you do?
I'm gonna guess it's the flag.
Then the flag salute over at Canal Creek North. Building. Oh my God.
That's why we need historians.
The very first day. It's the flag that you're right now with your heart.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Thank you for Mr. Doer for that impromptu accommodation. May we have our roll call, please?
Director Nichols.
Yes.
Director Cusworth. Yes. Director Lang.
Here.
Director Holt.
Here.
Director Hupper.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is our special presentations, and I might just add for the benefit of our listening audience or whoever may watch the video, we just spent an hour and a half, almost 2 hours up at Sapwe Trails Park, interacting with our partners up there with the Disc Golf Club, the Glider Club, and the Corba Bike folks. And enjoyed a good demonstration as well as very informative conversation. So again, please express our thanks to them, all those participants, and thank you to the staff for coordinating that for us. Next is items from the public. Do we have anybody in the Zoom audience? Doesn't appear to be. Okay. Thank you. Next is approval of agenda. Are there any changes, requests of the agenda, or do we have a motion to approve it as it is?
I move that we approve the agenda as is.
Thank you. Do we have a second for that? Thank you. A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next, we have our consent calendar. We have the minutes and the warrants there. Are there any changes or comments or motion? Yes, Director Hupfer.
Another two minor changes on the minutes. I think the first two votes, the approval of the agenda and the consent calendar should have been 4-0 votes rather than 5-0 votes.
And I actually believe our preparer of the notes caught that in advance, but now we have two people, so that makes it unanimous. Is there anything else, Mr. Hupfer?
No.
Okay. All right, with that minor correction, we have a motion to approve. Director Hupfer?
I'll move approval of consent calendar A and B with the modifications on the minutes from October 21st.
Okay, do we have a second for that? Director Lang, all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. We have no deferred matters, no items for discussion. So that brings us to our new items. And I believe we're going to start with our Administrator Tom Hare.
I could introduce Mr. Hare to
Okay.
speak about this subject.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair Nichols and members of the board. Several different actions that are being recommended by staff. A couple of them were, one was determined that the project for the Teen Center, the Global Adult Community Center expansion and renovations are categorically exempt from CEQA. The two different classes we're looking at, one were the interior renovations of the teen and adult centers. It's a class 2 exemption, which is the replacement or reconstruction of existing structures. And for the exterior expansion of the teen and adult centers, it would be a class 3 exemption, where it's a construction of limited numbers of new and small facilities or structures. We're also asking you that you approve the project. And so if again, this is a new thing that we put on a couple 4 or 5 board meetings ago. If you look at the bottom of page 28, that the project plans are available for the board review and approval at that link. So we ask the board approve the project. And then we also ask that you recognize the anticipated revenues of the amount of $1.3 million. That is from the July 2021 California Budget Act, which included $3.3 million to the district. As we do with other revenues such as this, we recommend that the district recognize these future funds so we could use them in the 1.3 of the 3.3 towards this project. And we believe this is an appropriate use of these funds. And lastly, we ask you to award the bid to Solix Construction and a little over $3.5 million and plus with all the base bid plus the alternatives and contingencies. So it goes to a big total of $3.877 million. If you remember, we were before the board in September 16th. We rejected all the bids and we made some appropriate adjustments to the contract documents because there was a little bit of a clarification needed with the documents. So we re-advertised it, got the results back. We ended up with about a dozen or so bids, and Solix Construction was the low bid that was received. We also recommend awarding all of the alternatives, and Solix Construction is a qualified contract with all the appropriate licenses and all the references checked out with similar scopes with other agencies. With that, I'm available for questions, and we're excited to actually finally start this project.
Thank you very much. I know this is the second time we've heard this, but I know with some of the changes, so it's good to see this moving forward. Yes, Director Huffer.
Several questions, Tom. First of all, maybe I'm just forgetting from the prior time around, but I'm not recalling all of the alternatives, the flooring and the other things like that. Is that different from the original bid package a month or two ago?
No, it was in there. Same stuff was in there. Yes.
Okay.
So we had met, just for your knowledge, so when we had met just about a month or so before we put out the bid the first time with city staff and with the recreation staff and said, hey, let's list everything that you may or may not, or that you may want in this upcoming project. So yeah, it was part of the first bid.
Okay. So everything was did the same.
Yes,
Again, without going back, what is the difference in the bids this time versus last time?
I'm glad you asked that.
Thank you.
Okay. So the first time Solix, if you remember, we did have a bidder that was fast track that was 2.1, 2.2 or so. And they actually pulled their bid because they said they made a mistake. Solix was the second low bidder last time. And then it then became the apparent low bidder because of that. But then again, we rejected all the bids. And with Solix, they were 2.995 was their original bid and the base bid. And then their new one was 2.943. So it was a difference of $52,000 less on the base bid this time than last time. And then with all the alternates though, I looked at all the other different alternates, and you add up all their alternates combined, they were $200,000 more this time than last time.
Huh.
So net was 69 or $150,000 more than last time if you take the alternates plus the base bid.
Okay. So not a substantial difference then.
No, and it's actually kind of interesting. We did ask Solix because sometimes the guy will hang around after the bid opening, and we said, "Hey, how did you come up with $52,000 less?" And that simply is that because when you rebid projects, they get worried that someone's just going to come in and, well, he was this last time, do Price is Right thing and just lower it by $10, and he thinks he's going to get the bid. So he goes, we chose to lower it by $52,000, and even if you look at the bid sheet, since I've been here, Solix was 2.943, and then the second low bidder was 2.944123. So $1,123 difference between the Nazarian Group and Solix. So that's, $1,200 over a $3 million project. That's, he wasn't happy.
Yeah. Can I do it again?
Yeah.
And my recollection is, the district has not used Solix in the past, but they do have
Yes.
good references from other agencies.
Yes. Yeah. I forget exactly which ones, but yes, that is true. They have, I didn't open it up. Here we go. They, Oxnard, Union High, City of San Jose. And San Jose Unified and Hanford Joint Unified Union High School District in Hanford, California. So like school modernizations, renovations, site works, improvements. That's tennis courts. So,
Okay.
Lots of good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, Director Cusworth.
I think that Director Huffer kind of asked my question, but have you ever seen their work or have you known anybody personally? It sounds like they're a San Jose company.
No, we don't.
Okay. But the references are good. And
Yes,
so-
yeah. I mean, it's not abnormal for us not to have worked with someone or locally, they haven't worked in a project nearby. It's not abnormal for this.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Director Lang?
Yes, Tom, of the 10 bidders, how many were in the first round?
I don't know. I don't have those stats for you, but probably, I'm just quickly looking. At least eight. At least eight. The only two I don't recognize I only don't recognize off the top of my head, two of them.
Okay, so most of them were willing to come back. They weren't scared away by anything that.
Yeah, sometimes if they don't come back, like we did have some fairly high bids the first time. And they're like, the low bid, or the second low bid, the parent low bidder without the other one, it's around 3 and someone bid 4 point something. So they're like, I'm not going to waste my time. I can't take $1 million off this project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Just to follow up on the references, do you actually call the references and get some
Yes.
input?
Definitely.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah, we call it just standard questions of, on time, how are they to work with? Were they on budget, and et cetera, et cetera. So just a litany of, like you would do a job interview reference check.
Okay, perfect. Okay, without any further questions, do we have a motion for the recommendations 1, 2, 3, and 4? Director Huffer.
Nobody else is jumping at it. I move approval of staff recommendations 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh,
I love it.
wow.
I love it. Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Director Lang. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries 5-0.
I wanted you to.
Thank you. That brings us to item 9B. And I believe Administrator Hare, you're the contact for this. If you want to enlighten us, please.
Yes, I would be happy to. This is for an award of 8 vehicles to Fairview Ford. Generally, we do 3 to 5 vehicles a year, but remember, this is the additional 4 Ranger trucks this year. So it's four brand new vehicles also for 4 new positions. So we did our normal advertising, sent directly to 7 Ford dealers, 3 General Motors dealers, and 1 Dodge dealer. And the reason I'm saying all this is because, as you see, we ended up with 1 bid. And one of the reasons was Courtesy Chevrolet called us up and said that General Motors has cut off ordering for all 2020 fleet models. We talked to some of the other Ford dealers and they said, nope, this is we don't have anything in stock. This is supply chain issues, like as the whole world is having the same sort of challenges out there. And even with Fairview Ford, they said if we ordered by November 11th, 2021, they could fulfill their bid proposal. And then even with that said, it would be from 6 to 8 months to fill the to fill the trucks, to fill the order of the trucks. But the staff does think we do have the budget for this. It is a reasonable price for the bids. And also on top of this is we would be, once we receive the trucks, and we would be able to retire 4 of our other vehicles, and they would be sold to the district. So it's 51,000. So the total for the Fairview Ford is 301,000. And to the school district is 51,000. So the net is about $250,000. So with that, I'm available for questions. And we've done a lot of business with Fairview Ford before. They seem to win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 of our vehicle bids. So they're a good organization.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Yes, Director Huffer.
Yeah, I was just sort of curious, Tom, the assets that we're selling to the school district. Obviously, the 4 new 4x4 trucks for the Rangers were not replacements, but the other vehicles were all replacements. But the first 3 of the 4 vehicles that are being sold to the park district were not the ones that were being replaced with these new vehicles. At least according to the,
Correct. A lot of times, sometimes we have, we call it like pool vehicles. So we might retire your vehicle, you don't drive your vehicle anymore, but it goes to the pool. It's the extra truck. And so we'll keep a couple of those. So when my truck goes down, I can, when my truck's in the shop for a week, I use that pool vehicle. So sometimes there's like a purgatory, there's a waiting of some trucks as it's going out the door. It's not always this one for that one.
okay, so when you say a vehicle has reached its useful life, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're getting rid of that vehicle, but.
Correct. Yeah. Sometimes it's just it's a purgatory truck. Yeah. Best
Okay.
way to put it.
All right.
Yeah.
Purgatory truck, is that a technical term?
Yes, you can put me on that.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of like a mothball fleet, I think.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay, with that, any more questions? I'll entertain a motion for that. We have a recommendation from staff. Yes, Director Cusworth.
And we award the purchase and credit amount as listed to Fairview Ford.
Very good. Do we have a second to that motion? Director Holt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next is their section 10 on reports and announcements. We have a collection of handouts and information in our packets. Were there any questions of staff on any of those items 10A through E? Yes, Director Holt.
I'd just like to mention that, I don't know whether this is familiar, but we had a Canal Coalition for Youth and Families this week. And Rochelle, of course, really plans them and manages our Zoom, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not here. You know, really, my hat's off to her because, you know, it's extremely organized. And so we had a really good discussion, and I was going to turn it over to Rochelle to talk about it, but and we had a good speaker, and we talked about all the different agencies in the community, and we kind of take them one by one that are helping out with homeless, with children who have problems getting to school, et cetera, et cetera. So actually, I kind of think that I'm going to wait until Rochelle is here.
Very good.
Because, you know, she really plans these and does a wonderful job. So I brought my notes, and, but I'll just wait and give her credit for what a great meeting it was. And of course, then we're planning the next meeting. Well, I think all of you know by now that we have a representative from the city, which is Claudia. And then we have a couple of representatives from the school district who were there regularly, and so it's a, three partners with this, with staff people involved. But, anyway, I was just thinking, Rochelle, it was good, and I was gonna go with the floor, but next time.
Very good. All right. Well, we will anxiously anticipate that then and wait to hear when she returns, her update on that. Okay, anything else on item 10? Okay, we'll move on to item 11, department reports. And first is Parks Division Report. Administrator Hare, got anything more for us?
Of course.
All right.
Segueing from our new range of new vehicles and new Ranger vehicles we're getting, our supervisory park ranger is starting on Monday next week.
Hmm.
Mr. Corey Prindle. I don't know if anyone's met him. Did he? Because I know you got a Costco meeting next week, right? I think
Yes.
so. He's coming to
Okay.
that. He's
Okay.
coming to that meeting. So you'll meet Corey. So I'm very excited to have him on board. He's of course got a jam-packed first week. You'll hear more about him, but for everyone else, he's from the San Diego area and he's excited to be here. So we're excited to have him here. And then after he gets a little acclimated, then we'll start looking into hiring the additional rangers as we go along. Other fantastic things happening. I know Chuck's hot on this one. If you want to know when the playgrounds are happening. So we just started, it's been a long time, again, more supply issues, but we just started South Shore Hills on Monday this week. And we're looking at have that done by early December. And then we're going to move over to Triunfo Community Park. That'll be done by early January. Lang Ranch Neighborhood Park, mid-January, and Thousand Oaks Center, we hope by February 1st. That's the only one that they haven't given us a confirmation on the delivery date of what they call them, the toys. So, but I will keep everybody informed, but especially you, so then that you know when they're done, so you can go play on it with the grandkids when they visit. And then this Saturday at 9 a.m. and next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Myself and Andrew Mooney are going to be at Rancho Potrero having a neighborhood meeting, talking about the potential of putting arena lights up at the equestrian center. So, yes, ma'am.
I presume you read the article in the, is it a letter?
Letter. Yes, I did read the letter. Yes. Yeah.
So do you have any comments on that?
Not at this time, except for what we're doing is over and above the city's process when you do like a minor modification to a development, is that you can just, for lack of a word, just do it. And they put up a sign and then you have to contact the city. We did a very similar situation where we did the solar panel. So rather than if there's any controversy, any confusion, any whatever, we'd rather the public hear from us first in a more informal setting on site, so we can talk to them and so we can have a dialogue face to face. And so we're doing the same thing. So we're just trying to be 100% transparent. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. And this is what we're planning. And we're going to be submitting it to the city of Thousand Oaks for the development process. And here is, if someone really wants to oppose it, they go through the process with the city of Thousand Oaks. But again, we want to have these public outreach meetings so we can reach as many people as possible.
Do you have any comment about one thing that they talked about, that the lights would be reflected at the homes and it would be
But my short answer is no. With especially with technology now.
no, you don't have a comment yet on that?
Oh, no, no, it will not be reflecting on the homes.
Okay.
It's fairly amazing the amount of cutoff that you get. Like we have one of the boards that we're showing them on Saturday it looks like an island. I think it's a soccer field in some other, in Malibu, I believe. But you see it's completely dark except for some homes. And then you've got the park, dark, and then green, bright green, because it's the cutoff. The foot candle is just outside the area they're lighting is 0 foot candles. So there's going to be no glare, no spillover light, nothing like that. And so, and we have the photometrics also to show the community when we have the meeting.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So when is that meeting scheduled?
This Saturday at 9.
Oh, it is, okay.
And then also the same meeting, to give people another opportunity, would be Tuesday at 4. We couldn't have it at night because it's dark out and we have no lights, so.
Headlights. Okay. Anything else from?
No,
Parks
that's it.
Division? Okay, thank you for that. Next, we go to our Recreation Division report, Mr. Doer. Welcome, by the way. Glad you can be with us tonight.
Just wanted to recap a couple of things that were in the rec highlights, but last weekend, or excuse me, 2 Saturdays ago, we were able to return to bring back a haunted trail event. If you recall, last year we had to do a trunk or treat drive-through event. So as we're approaching holiday season, it's nice that we get away from some of the drive-through events that we had to do and be able to get back to some of the creative events we had in the past. So that was a big success. Had over 800 people registered for that event. Then a couple plugs I just wanted to give for the Young Artists Ensemble is presenting a Christmas Carol. Tickets are now on sale for Friday and Saturday evening and Saturday and Sunday matinee shows that will run from November 5th through the 21st. Also, there's still space available for the November 6th celebration of Joel McCrae's birthday at McCrae Ranch. And then a couple other things that have just happened. We had our sports unit held there. They call it the Monster Smash Pickleball Tournament. It went over a series of 2 different Saturdays. Big success, had over 89 teams of 2, so that's 178 participants. And they had the men's, women's, and a mixed doubles division. So very popular, successful event. And then just a couple things coming up. I know a lot of people's one of their favorite events, the Silver Starlight Ball put on by our therapeutic unit, is currently scheduled for Saturday, December 18th. Devin, our supervisor, is trying to solidify a location right now. They're going to hold it outside. So she's having a little bit of a difficulty finding a location, but she's hoping to have it on the 18th. Also on the 18th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we'll have our annual Safe Passage holiday gift distribution. And this year we're going to combine the sites and have it at Rancho Conejo Playfields. So we'll have more information for you guys on that once it gets closer. And then lastly, our units are going to be putting together 2 outdoor holiday movie night events with, we purchased a large outdoor screen that we want to begin using as long as weather permits. And the first will take place on Friday, December 17th at Borchard Community Center. And then the second one will actually take place on a Wednesday, December 29th at Thousand Oaks Community Center. And we plan to have other activities and festivities at those as well. So that's still in the planning stages, but we've gotten that far on the details for now. So, and with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Director Lang.
On the Silver Starlight Ball, the date has been established and location.
Correct. Yeah, Devin has talked with the participants and they're just not comfortable being inside right now. So they want to have it outside. She's just having a hard time getting a spot that would be suitable for it.
Any other questions? Okay, next we'll go to Management Services. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Chair Nichols and board members. So I'll keep it brief, but we are actually wrapping up our audit for the year end. So we'll be having our Finance and Audit Committee on the 17th, and I'll have either a really good draft or maybe a final version for you there. So that's exciting. Other than that, we also have the new OSHA regulation got released today. So just send good thoughts to Shelley along with chocolate or a massage certificate or something, because implementing that's going to be a bit of a challenge. But with that, I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll move on to our General Manager's report. Mr. Friedel.
Yeah, just again, thank you so much to Tom's staff. Greg and Matt and everyone involved in making the little tour of Sopley, a lot of fun. That was great. The just a couple of really quick things. If we don't get a lot more rain between now and February, March, the word is that there could be mandatory 25% reductions. So I kind of, this is a time to start really hoping we get some meaningful rainfall in the next, few months here. 11/6, Saturday, 11/6, in 2 days, Brian Hines is going to be doing the borderline party in the park at Canal Creek North. And again, we had the event on the first anniversary of the borderline tragedy. And then last year it didn't occur because of COVID, of course. So he's going to be doing that again, and he is doing it. There are tickets to purchase. I think if you just went to Facebook or social media, you could find the borderline party in the park. The following day on Sunday, the third anniversary of the borderline tragedy, the mayor and the interfaith community is going to be hosting a day of remembrance at the Healing Garden, which is exactly why we have it there, and grateful they're doing it. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. And the park naming committee met, and we'll probably have a board report for you on December 16th. I think we're going to bring it. Might be the second. Yeah, we're not going to spoil it, but they met. So we have some good stuff. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Any questions of our general manager? Yes, Director Huffer.
Yeah, what did you say the hours were on Saturday for that party in the park?
I did not say the hours. Actually, I do not know the hours.
Oh, that was in the Acorn also. I can't remember. I think it was 11 to 5, or it was a long time.
Yeah,
And
it's like
it
a 6 hour.
cost to go to that.
Yes. So
Whereas the Sunday Day of Remembrance in the Healing Garden is at 1 o'clock.
Right. My concern is that I don't know how large that Saturday event is going to be and whether it's going to have any impact on overflow parking at Canal Creek South.
So we talked to Brian when he wanted to do the event, and we made sure that he kept it below 1,000, which is our policy for renting out Lakeside. Well, all 3 picnic areas are not reserved. So Lakeside, Creekside, Willow Bend are not reserved. So it's within the capacity of North.
So
You think there's an overflow of?
I'm just concerned about parking on Saturday. And I don't know if anybody had contacted Region 9 about that.
No, we kept it below 1,000. So we have the 4, the 2, we have the 700 capacity of the 3 picnic areas plus, the board. So 1,000 is a comfortable capacity inside Canal Creek North without
Parking,
crossing
you're not going to
jams.
park 1,000 people at Canal Creek North.
No, but generally you have 2 per car at least.
Yeah, at least.
Well, you're not going to park 500 people at Canal Creek North.
Yeah, so.
Okay, well, keep our fingers crossed. I
Yeah.
guess.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Next, we have our director's reports and follow-up reports. See, Director Huffer, why don't I start with you, since your mic is hot and ready to go?
All right, just a few things going on. I think we were all at the ribbon cutting for the dog park. That was, despite the less than ideal weather, it was a fun time, and it was nice to talk to some of the patrons there, and both the humans and the dogs. And then the groundbreaking at Canal Creek Southwest. In addition to the spectacular food that was served there.
Where was the cheese for the hamburgers?
These were low-calorie hamburgers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't want to fatten you up with cheese or anything, so actually it sat in my refrigerator at home and got forgotten, so. Oh, now the truth is out.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, it was a nice event. It was great to have city staff and electeds there. 3 of the city council members, which was great. I did get over to the haunted trail, which was so cute. All those little kids running around. This is another one of those events, sort of like the fishing frenzy, where you really need to work out some way where you can rent a kid for an hour, take them around. They were so darling. I ran into, you were there with your grandkids, weren't you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. I did look like they had a sort of a mini trunk or treat. There was some vehicles parked
Mhm,
along the side there. So, but that was fun. Then a couple committee meetings. Had a meeting with the pickleball committee with Director Holt, and more to be discussed in the months and years ahead. And then we also, with Director Cusworth, met for the park naming committee, and whatever the date was in December, we'll come up with, we'll have the recommendation comes out of that committee. That's all I had to report.
Very good. Thank you. I will continue on over here with Director Holt. If you have anything you care to update us with.
Well, the pickleball committee, I know I already mentioned the Caneo Coalition for Youth and Families. And it seemed like constant meetings. It really did. So it's been busy, but it's been great. So I can't remember all of them.
Got to look at my calendar.
I know.
Thank you. Okay, Director Cusworth.
Yes, well, a lot of the things that Director Hufford mentioned, that since my daughter moved from Santa Barbara, I do now have, well, I guess it's sort of rented grandkids, because I do take them to go places. But my granddaughter does have a lot at that.
I didn't hear what you said, but
So my granddaughter had a lot of fun on the trail. It was very well done. So thank you very much for all the work. And when I was telling my husband, I said, I think the Caneo Community Center just puts this on. Is that right? Is it just the Caneo Community Center?
It's hosted by TOC Thousand Oaks, so they're the main, but it's actually all four of our community centers they each do a section.
Oh, okay. Because I was pretty impressed with just the whole event. And I thought, wow, just the Caneo Community Center did it. Just a second. That's amazing. And we did go home, and my granddaughter had never seen Star Wars, and we watched it because they had that on the haunted trail.
Very good.
So that inspired us to enlighten her on, I guess now those would be vintage movies, right? So that was fun. And then also, I'm just so thrilled about this because I guess I like speaker series. So last month I went and saw Larry Jans at the Goebel, Richard Sennett at the Stagecoach Inn, and then the Botanic Garden speakers that was Zoom with CASA, all related to CRPD. So I like speaker series. I feel like we're building the education of our community, and education breeds knowledge, breeds, people wanting to preserve our open space and our parks. So, and then I also wanted to say that on November 13th, the Chumash Museum is having a wildlife day. Seems like it's kind of centered around poison-free Caneo, talking about rodenticide and different animals in the area. Looks like a nice event. And then the Stagecoach Inn on the 19th is having California night. We're gonna have a taco truck there, and we're gonna be showing the Mark of Zorro from 1940 with Tyrone Power. So it should be a great, really fun night. Oh, and we are having a raffle, the Heritage Oak raffle. So we're hoping to make a lot of money to go into the Heritage Oak Fund, which is being double matched by CRPD, and they are extremely excited about this. We have lots of plans. I went to a meeting about talking about all of the different things that they want to do, and they're raising more money than they usually do. So
Very good.
it's a good incentive.
Mhm. Wow, I'm exhausted hearing from you. Thank you. Just all the activities are just, my gosh.
I'm completely exhausted.
Does your husband ever see you?
Director Lang. Director Lang, you have a report
Yes,
for us?
End of last month, we had a special MRCA meeting. And then yesterday, we had a regular MRCA meeting. And then I also attended the online Agora Hills State of the City Chamber event. Heard Dennis Weber, the mayor of Agora Hills, give a speech. They're in good shape, doing things that are really good to see Agora Hills do, because they hadn't, well, recently they've been doing a lot of good things, but previously there were not so many things taking place. That's it.
Very good. All right, thank you.
I just
Yes, go ahead.
was the Ventura County special district in October?
Yes,
I think I went to that. Did
Yes.
anybody else go to that on Zoom?
I attended in
It was
person.
It was at Rancho See Me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I was there
remember.
in person.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to go, but then I had to go somewhere else too, so I thought it on Zoom.
Yeah, that was
I
October
think it was
5th.
Distinguished speaker. Another speaker. I like speakers.
Yes,
Anyway, nobody else mentioned it. But you were
Yes.
there.
yeah, that was October 5th. I looked
Yeah,
at my
those are
calendar.
always fun to do.
Yeah. Thank you. I have a couple things to add. I too attended, I think, all the events that I've heard previously mentioned. I got a couple to add to that. One was I did stop by the Lynn Oaks Park Public Outreach Meeting on 23rd of October at 1:30. Had to make sure I had 4 things to do park-wise that day. 3 wasn't enough. That was very interesting. I guess from what I hear from our staff, Tom and Andrew were there Thursday, and then also on Saturday that it was similar number of crowds, number of neighbors there. Very engaged group of people there. I was very impressed with, you think just a small neighborhood park, wouldn't attract that much attention, but they're very engaged in their park and had a lot of comments. And I think we've got some good ideas, everything from telescopes to parking lots that they want to see there. But it was interesting to hear, the rationale that people use on what they want to see in a park and why. And especially when you have certain amenities built in and how they perceive that could be enhanced or not, or removed even in some cases. So that was very interesting. I think they did a great job. And as they mentioned, it's the fact-finding venture, interest-finding venture, no funding whatsoever, but it's always good to have shovel-ready projects in the bank when that funding happens to show up. Other thing that I participated in was the California Association of Recreation and Park Districts. We had a board meeting on the 28th and the 29th. And that was actually held in Rockville, up by Sacramento at the association headquarters. And so a couple of us flew in, most people drove in, they were within range of driving. So we had a nice time together. We actually had a board meeting to take care of business and also a strategic plan. I just thought I'd share just a few things that were discussed. Again, they just reiterated the success of the 2021 annual conference. The 2022 annual conference will be back in South Lake Tahoe, and that'll be May 18th through 21st, if you want to put that on your calendar. The association's in a good financial position. In addition to adding the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District just a few months ago, recently added Harupa Community Services District. And that was due to the fact that the bylaws of the association was recently changed, that not only could recreation and park districts participate or be members, but also a community service district could participate if they included park, recreation and park services within their district. So Harupa will be joining us. And then also back to the annual conference, the CSDA legislative days will be May 18th. So that'll be a nice connection. If you're up there, Sacramento on the 18th, you just hop on the freeway up to Tahoe for that evening. We reviewed the legislation for 2021 and also a couple things coming up expected in 2022. And also talked about a new member acquisition plan, just how do we get more of the districts involved in that group. One thing that continues to, I wouldn't say it's an issue, but it's just something we keep in our forefront, is the disparity of recreation park districts throughout the state. The locations of them, they seem to kind of congregate in certain areas, but also the size of them, and the financial size as well as the geographical size. So it's interesting as we talk about subjects, and it's just like, well, we don't have that problem. It says, oh, yes, we have that problem. You know, it just goes across the board. So it's not so much it's hard to find unity, but it's just a matter of how does it apply to your particular district and what do you take from it to move it forward. So we're trying to take that information as a state representative board to be able to get that back out to the member districts on how we strengthen the state as a whole. Then we also looked over a strategic plan that's coming up, and some of the things that the 5 goals were recognition of in support of members, enhancing partnerships, continuing to review legislation, identifying funding sources, and continuing to produce a good annual conference. So those were the kind of the major topics that we had there. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention, I was emailed a link to an article which concerned me quite a bit. The title of the article was "Don't Call People Americans. A leading parks group debuts a woke guide." And this was an article published by the Daily Wire. It was referring to the Equity Language Guide published by the National Recreation and Park Association.
Really?
So I read the article, which I found concerning. And then I actually went to the guide itself, which I was even more concerned about. To me, it was very divisive, inflammatory, and offensive. And what I found most concerned was in the guide itself, NRPA recommends in red lettering, use caution with this word. The word is Americans. And the concern is that that might be offensive. And I'm thinking, well, we live in the USA, we are all Americans. So I don't know why NRPA felt the need to publish such a guide. And you can look online, I'll be happy to provide the link if you want. Certainly that doesn't seem to be in their space to be publishing something like this. But in my opinion, if NRPA recommends not using the term Americans, I recommend CRPD not being affiliated with NRPA.
Jeez,
Furthermore, I recommend that CRPD not participate in any of the NRPA programs or offerings. And I would recommend that CRPD not reimburse or provide funding to any staff members attending NRPA events. And with that, I would like to know from the general manager, not at this moment, but how the proper procedure is to formalize these recommendations as official CRPD policy. Of course, that would require a vote of the board. But this type of dialogue to me is just divides a community. And when I, as an American, have to use caution to use the term American based on a Park and Recreation Association that's a national organization, that's very concerning to me. And I don't want any association with an organization like that. So that's my little soapbox for this evening. If anyone wants a link to that article, I'd be happy to send that to them, which includes a link to the guide itself.
Director Nichols,
Yes,
if I
Director
can just
Hupper.
make a suggestion that perhaps when we get to subsequent suggestions for subsequent agendas, that you might suggest this as a subsequent agenda item.
Absolutely. Yes,
Amazing.
Director Lang.
About that when I reported on attending the national conference. I didn't physically go down to national online, and it was very obvious. There were a few of the presenters who did not go along with the pronoun and all the other stuff. have used their names. But for the most part, topics and very much along the lines of that article. And I had the same article sent to me by an individual not associated with the park district, Father Kim. Share that with me. Wanted to know. Then another comment from not that he attended the Red Oaks community input meeting, and that's school district property. Did they ever, in their financial challenges, have they ever approached us about buying?
Yes, they have. I mean, I don't want to negotiate in an open forum, but yes, we have had discussions in the past. It seems every time there's a new administration, not board, that it comes up about every 5-6 years. It's probably come up 3 times since I've been here, and I think at least one time before I was here.
You don't know if the neighbors don't know that or concerned about.
No, we were very clear, because we, before we even conducted the neighborhood meetings, we were partnering with the school district on this project. This is not something that we're doing in the dark without their consent. And in fact, we are meeting with them, and they've been totally thumbs up all the way via email. We told them some of our ideas, and then we're going to meet them on site on the shoot. I can't remember if it's the 8th or the 15th. We're going to meet them out there just to kind of go over the results of like the meetings that meeting that Doug went and the one before, just kind of like here's our kind of ideas of what we want to do out here, so they get some more buy-in with it.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Okay, thank you all for your reports. Next is the request for status reports and items or subsequent agendas. Do we have any requests? Yes, if you could make that a formal request for report for the future subsequent agenda. I think you probably captured the gist of mine. I'd be happy to add anything else if you need some more information on that. Item 13, items from the public. Do we have anybody waiting in the wings on the Zoom? No, okay, nothing there. I don't see anything for an executive closed session. So with that, I'm going to adjourn and do so in the memory of the Borderline 12, since the anniversary is coming this weekend. So with that, we will adjourn till our next meeting. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.